I mean, it's like the schlockiest, like crappiest direct-to-TV, like 90s style movie I've ever seen in my life. But it has like all of the biggest, like old guard Hollywood movie stars of the 90s in it. And like, they're not phoning it in.
Welcome back, De Niro Nation, to our hero De Niro, the only podcast that is watching and recapping Robert De Niro's entire filmography in random order. I'm Mike, and with me as always is Mike, no relation.
Hi, everyone.
And today we're talking about 1995's Marvin's Room. This is, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I don't know if it's going to be a long conversation, but I'd certainly never heard of this film before. I don't think you have either, right, Mike? No.
Certainly not.
Small film. So this is a drama with a capital D. It's directed by Jerry Zaks, based on a play of the same name by Scott McPherson, who passed away in 1992, and it has an all-star cast. Meryl Streep, a young Leonardo DiCaprio, Diane Keaton, Robert De Niro, of course, and some other less famous people. And for this film, yeah.
I didn't realize Scott McPherson had died. That's fascinating because, he also wrote the screenplay. He adapted his own play into the screenplay. So they, I guess, produced this movie posthumously, like he was dead.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. I wasn't able to find any history about this movie when I was reading about it.
The script was written by, of course, I'm going to mispronounce the name, John Guar, and he took over after McPherson died. So that's how they handled it. And for this movie, Diane Keaton received nominations for the Academy Award for Best Actress, the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actress, and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Leading Role.
She was really good.
She was really good, and Meryl Streep was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. So we're going to get some big really actory performances here.
Yep.
Small film, though. This only had a budget of $23 million, and it only made $30 million at the box office. So I guess that's why we never heard about it. I certainly never had. I think I want to set a couple of things up here it's my turn to recap this week. One, I have to let the citizens of De Niro Nation know that I'm getting over something. I don't know, food poisoning, some sort of stomach thing. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is that I'm still getting over it. So my energy level has never been lower, and that might be reflected in the recap. But maybe it'll be a nice quick half-hour episode. Who knows how much I'm going to have to say about Marvin's Room. It
speaks to our dedication to this project.
It truly does. No days off. Sigma male grind set. Rise and grind.
Absolutely.
So that's been a whole experience for me the last couple of days, which has not been fun. But last night I watched this film and I was feeling better. It just that the nausea kind of came back late last night, but I watched this film with friend of the pod, Philip. So peppered throughout, I do have just a little bit of Philip feedback from throughout the film. I'm excited to share with you as we discuss this film.
Hard to get him to watch a film that doesn't have Tilda Swinton in it these days. So
he's really deep in that wormhole. Should we just get right into Marvin's Room?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, first of all, this is the mid 90s, so we're starting out with the Miramax logo. Just Harvey Weinstein. That was a different era for a film. I hadn't seen the Miramax logo in a long time. And we see this very long opening with like some, piano music, just panning past a bunch of pill bottles for Marvin. Really goes on for a while. And it does say that it's based on a play. So we're outside and there's this woman, Diane Keaton. She plays this character, Bessie, who pulls up to this doctor's office. And we get our first Robert De Niro sighting pretty early in the film at 3 minutes and 39 seconds. He plays Dr. Wally. And he doesn't have his shit together. So I guess I kind of missed this in the beginning, but I guess he's partners with another doctor who's like Bessie's regular doctor, and that doctor is out of town. Yeah. Dr. Sarab. Okay, yep. He's like out for some reason. So Dr. Wally's taking over, and he's not used to interacting with the patients. So he really is just like...
He's more of like a scientist, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's in the lab.
He's like a comedic relief. He's like a comedy relief character. It's interesting.
It's a really cute performance. He made me smile.
Yeah, I have some things to say about him as we go on. He's in a supporting role, but I keep saying De Niro is so good at comedy. Like his comedic delivery, it's so legit. Funny. He has like a natural instinct for it. He really funny. Yeah, I'm glad we got Dr. Wally and not Dr. Sarab or whatever. It would have been so fucking boring. This is my first Philip quote. Philip said, quote, "He's a bit frazzled."
Very nutty professor coded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Goofy guy. And Bessie like monologues about her sick family in a way that felt like it felt very play to me in a way that I like immediately didn't love. You know, it's just there's something about the way it was written. I was like, oh, I'm not watching a movie right now. I am watching a play. And I didn't get into the podcast game to watch plays, but whatever. You know, it just is what it is. The best way that I can describe Robert De Niro's character in this film, you didn't watch 30 Rock, so this isn't going to land for you. But for anyone who's watched 30 Rock, he kind of reminds me of Dr. Leo Spaceman.
Well, it must be psychosomatic. Now, don't worry, that's just a fancy doctor word for your brain is broken. Unfortunately, there's no field of medicine that deals with the brain. But I can give you a pamphlet for a cult.
You don't know that reference, do you? That's so sad.
Not in a million years.
Oh, that's really sad, man. 30 Rock was really good.
I know. You know, it's one of the 2 things on your list that I haven't watched yet.
We'll get there. We'll get
all
there.
All of The Simpsons.
Maybe, but only the good seasons. Only seasons like 2 through 9, which like once you start, you'll fucking blaze through. And so we see young Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's like 20 in this film, and this is like such a. Well, okay, I want to talk about this moment. So let me just set it up. He's inside some like bedroom in a house, and he's looking through a bunch of old photos, and he rips one of them up to pull a picture of this old, you know, some guy. It's like a black and white photo. It's presumably his dad. Puts it into his breast pocket of his t-shirt, and then tells his little brother, who's some nerdy looking kid, to like, you know, leave the house with him because he sets the pictures on fire. And they leave the house and they just walk out, and it's. How'd you feel about this as like the setup to the film?
I thought it was crazy. I really think there's so much about this film tonally that is just so bizarre to me, and I don't really know like even how to talk about much of it with too much specificity. But like, I don't know. This script is a mess. And this is kind of like, this is sort of where it starts. I think like this as an intro is bizarre.
I agree with you, because when I saw this unfold, I thought, I know arson is real. I know there are disturbed, you know, young men who do this sort of thing in real life.
Yeah.
But it felt like this sort of symbolic act that would only happen in a movie. Like, oh, it's just so dramatic and provocative, and it's setting up all of these questions about why it's happening. And I don't know. I thought it was so goofy.
Yeah, it's tough to say. My sense just generally is that like this kind of spontaneous arson is like usually more related to some sort of you know, more germane psychological disturbance like pyromania or something like that.
Right.
And so it is a little bit odd that he chooses, to your point, this like very specific way to act out, and then like that part of his personality is like never really explored in the film. It's like it's very odd.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say too, I think in the movie, Leo plays a 17-year-old who's on the verge of turning 18. Yep. So and
he's quite good.
He's quite good
really
in it, yeah. And he's got the best mop of like 90s, you know, hair. Oh, great era for really great.
He's wearing all like the big pants and like the weird shirts, and like it's all really good. The costumes and the performances in this movie are like exceptional. It's great. It's great 90s nostalgia.
It really is. Yeah. So Meryl Streep receives a call. She's a hairdresser, and she is Leo's mom. She plays Lee. So Meryl Streep is Lee. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Will. I don't know if I'm going to use their names or the character names, whatever. I'm out of it. And so she rolls up to the police department, and her younger son, the nerd, his name is Charlie. He's just waiting there. And Leo was detained for the felony arson that he committed. He burned a fucking house down. And so they move into a church. Well, Meryl Streep and Charlie move into a church. Leo does not get that privilege. His freedom has been revoked. And then we see Diane Keaton's character, Bessie, comes home to... Okay, so it wasn't her mom's house. It was her Aunt Ruth and Dad's house. Her dad is Marvin, the titular Marvin of Marvin's room.
Titular Melvin.
Melvin's room. Yeah, that's not confusing. So she comes home, and Ruth. So basically, the situation is that Marvin has been dying for like the last 2 decades, real slow, and he's bedridden and can't speak, and he seems to be suffering from advanced dementia. And
he had a stroke.
He had a stroke. That's right. I think like multiple
He had
strokes.
like a catastrophic stroke 20 years ago that like started him down this path of slow degradation.
That's right. So, her and her Aunt Ruth, basically, mostly Bessie, is responsible for taking care of Marvin. In my notes here, I put, the tone is schmaltzy so far. I am not being pulled in. and I don't know, how did you feel about it at this point, like tonally?
I mean, it's not good. But, I mean, I like that kind of schmaltzy stuff, like I know it's not good, but I enjoy it. So I was fine with it. I enjoyed watching this movie. It went down real easy.
Well, I wrote that in my notes. I wrote tone is schmaltzy so far. I'm not being pulled in. And immediately after I wrote that, Philip says, I lucked out and might have actually gotten a good film. And I just thought, I was like, I think we're going down different paths here, but I didn't want to say anything. I'm going to, wait for him to listen to the pod to get my full opinion.
Oh, so you didn't give him any feedback at all when you guys watched it?
Just however long it takes. Yeah, I did not.
It's incredible restraint. Yep.
Oh yeah, man. And they had there's some touching moment where Bessie is reflecting a pocket mirror on the wall with in Marvin's room, and I thought, like, this is the sort of thing you have to do when you're writing a play, because all you get, you just get like the one little set and a budget of like $30, so you have to like look for profundity, and
you gotta have like a little mirror, yep.
It reminded me of when we watched Nickel Boys, which is a pretty good film that's shot entirely in first person. But like, because it's shot in first person, there's like all these really long, annoying, lingering shots of people just like looking at their fucking like hands, just like, oh my God, I fucking hated that shit so much. Too self-indulgent for me.
That was really good. Yeah.
So Meryl Streep, she is meeting with character actress Margot Martindale, she plays some psychiatrist at some like juvenile detention center where Leo is being held for the felony arson that he committed. So, Leo, Will, whatever. He sounds like a real problem child.
It's not Will, it's Hank.
Who the hell is Will?
I don't know, but the character's name is Hank.
Oh, you know what? You know what's funny? Actually, it's in my notes right there. I have Meryl equals Lee. Leo equals Hank. It's it's like the classic Simpsons moment where Homer looks at his hand to tell his two friends apart, and he on his hand he wrote Lenny equals white, Carl equals black, which is a reference you'll get someday when you watch The Simpsons. So Lee is visiting Hank, and she's like very begrudgingly visiting her son, which, I guess would be a complicated thing, right? Like, he did just burn her house down.
Yeah.
I'd have some mixed feelings.
The relationship between her and Hank is fascinating. I think there will be a time in the narrative to kind of do a postmortem on the way this relationship is depicted. It's not this moment, but it's all very odd.
Yeah, so she stops by his cell, whatever, and he's like fully restrained and sedated, so he doesn't even know that she's there, that she's there, and so she just like basically leaves. And we go back to Bessie in Florida at Dr. Wally's office. And this is a great De Niro scene. He is like a couple minutes late after Bessie getting into the office, and he like biked into work. So you get to see De Niro like wearing like a bike helmet, like his medical coat. It's a great look, very goofy. I want
to comment on this. I actually forgot about this until you talked about it right now. But when it happened, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, they're showing us this. Like, this is an interesting character moment for Dr. Wally, and it seems like maybe like they're trying to depict him as like very attractive, right? Like, it's like he's kind of like a goofball, but he's like a brilliant scientist, and he's like really charming, and apparently he's also like biking around town, like. And I was like, oh, like maybe there'll be like a love thing between him and Diane Keaton, and there like never was. And so like now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, why did they show us this? Like, he has like 8 minutes of screen time in the film. Like, why would they choose to use 30 seconds to show us this like thing about his character that I think like it suggests that it will be explored, but then it just like never is, and you never write.
I don't know. I kind of like it. It's just a fun little character beat,
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think it's odd.
I'm fucking dying here.
Oh yeah, you look great. I'm really happy I touched you yesterday.
That's great, man. Rub my head for good luck.
Yeah.
So Philip and I noted that he wears some insane like shirt tie combinations in this film. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, it's really nice.
In this scene where he's coming in from his bike ride, he's wearing a rainbow striped shirt and like a rainbow paisley tie. It's like the Joker would wear that. It's so garish. It's very funny. And this
awesome.
is, to your point, this is like peak Robert De Niro. I think just in terms of like physical attractiveness and aura, this is like 1995 Heat era De Niro. It doesn't get any better than that.
Looks incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like, and the character is so charming. Like, it's like,
oh yeah.
That's why I was thinking, like, it's like, okay, they got like Hollywood hottie, like Robert De Niro at his hottest. And they have him playing this character. Like, oh, look, he's like kind of goofily athletic. Like, what are they going to do with this? And then just like, I don't know. We're already halfway through the whole screen.
Nothing, man. We need to save all that space for scenes of people crying down the road. You know, Bessie came in because she thought she might have a vitamin deficiency. Unfortunately for her, Dr. Wally thinks we're past that and actually suspects that she has leukemia. So he mentions
kind of like two sides of one coin, like in terms of like medical maladies. Yeah,
right. He's like looking through her file. He's like, well, you've been taking your Flintstones vitamins, so I think we need to rule that out. Like you're getting all the 150 whatever. So he mentions, he's like, you know, there are a lot of different types of leukemia. And if you have one, you know, where we could treat it with a bone marrow transplant, like, don't you have a sister that you could potentially call upon? And it's Meryl Streep. So Bessie and Lee, they're sisters, but they're estranged. And so there is, I will give this credit. Philip called it out. There is a very nice transition from De Niro. He's like looking at cells through a microscope, and it like transitions into being a stained glass window of the church where Lee is staying. And I thought, okay, there's some real like flair there with the cinematography. It's like the one time that we see that sort of like stunting on the audience. The rest of the cinematography is, I would say, rather bland in comparison.
Direct to 90s era USA Network, baby.
It really had that feeling, didn't it? It just had like
an
Lifetime
ABC
original movie. Yeah, it really had that vibe. So Lee is hanging out with the nuns in the church, and I thought, that's great. You know, in my field work, I get to hang out with nuns. They don't wear the habits anymore, though. I feel like we kind of lost something there. You know, we used to be a society. Yeah. It does make the nuns seem a lot more approachable when they don't have to wear the habits, though. That is a very intimidating garment. And so she gets a call from Bessie, and that's like the first time they've talked in a long time. And so Leo gets Hank. Yeah, Hank. Her son, Hank, Leonardo DiCaprio. She gets Hank outside with Margot Martindale to tell him about Aunt Bessie for the first time in his 17-year-long life. And he's really taken aback by this. He's like, I didn't know you had a sister or anything like that. And they have this conversation about how they're all going to get tested to see if, you know, their bone marrow matches. And Leo is about to go back inside the detention center. And at Margot Martindale's insistence, he apologizes to Lee for burning down the house. And Lee is just totally like doesn't give a shit. She's very nonchalant about it. In a very interesting reaction.
Yeah, I want to correct you here because I had a different interpretation of the scene, and I think my interpretation is correct. I think Leo actually really wanted to apologize for it. I don't think he was coerced into it by Margot Martindale, and that I think changes the dimensionality of her response, right? So his apology is earnest, and she rejects him. And this happens constantly throughout the movie. We get these little flashes of him trying to be a little bit emotionally vulnerable, but it's clear that she's just such a horrible mother that she's calcified over every opportunity he might have to be at all in touch with his emotions. And this is the first time you really see it. You're like, oh, this is why he sucks. It's because his mom never engaged with him emotionally in any kind of pro-social productive way while he was growing up.
Yeah, you're right. Margot Martindale doesn't coerce him into saying it. She just tease him up, and he says it very sincerely, and he gets nothing in return. Lee sucks,
yep.
as we're going to discover over the course of this film.
Yeah. She's one of the worst characters we've seen in any film we've watched for this podcast, I think. She is incredible. And they try halfway through the third act to reveal something about her backstory to make her more relatable, but it just isn't enough.
I agree. I totally agree.
Counteract the other things that we've seen and know about her through the film. It doesn't explain enough of her behavior.
Yep. So Lee explains that she was able to get Will out of the detention center for a week to do this testing for the bone marrow, whatever, donation. And so Hank, Will, what's his name? God damn it.
Hank.
Hank and Charlie, they all get in her shitty fucking car and drive down from Ohio to Florida where Bessie is. So Bessie's in the hospital. Some time has passed. She's going through chemo or whatever. And her Aunt Ruth is visiting her. And she explains that she hasn't told Marvin that Bessie is sick or where she is or anything like that. And so next bit of Philip feedback here. Speaking about Ruth, he said, the old lady is a great actress. How'd you feel about Ruth's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I thought every performance was great. I didn't notice it relative to like any of the other performances, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is crazy, like, crazy quality of performance across the board for what they're given to work with here.
I agree. So we're back on the road. And so Leah's explaining, they're kind of doing like, not narration, but you're getting like conversation overlaid like a driving montage.
Yeah.
Leah's explaining that she hasn't heard from Bessie in 20 years. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder who's.
Oh, yeah, I wonder what the rereason could be.
Yeah, I wonder what the reason could be. 20 years.
What happened 20 years ago?
I know. There's just I don't know. There's no way to know. Yep. And we're they stop at a gas station and like someone has a trailer with some sort of race car in the back, and Leo like runs up to the guy and shows him a photo of his dad and goes like, hey, this is Larry Lacker.
The one he tore.
Yeah, the one he tore. He was the best race car driver ever. Did you know him? And the guy's like, no fucking idea. Like who you're talking about. So just a little character beat there. You know, Leo clearly misses his dad. So Meryl, while this is happening, Meryl Streep is putting on a wig or like, I don't know. I don't remember what they called it, but it like filled in the back of her hair. It was a very 90s looking thing. It was interesting. They bond over their wigs. What are you talking about?
This happening, and I don't know if I've ever known what this thing was.
Oh, they bond over the wigs later in the film.
Oh, you're talking about Bessie.
No, Lee also, like Bessie says she has a wig, and Lee's like, yeah, I'm wearing like a thing that like filled in the back of it like made her hair look longer, like extensions basically.
Oh damn, that's crazy. I didn't even notice this. Like it just sailed right past me, and I like never realized that this was a thing.
Lee has what you might call white trash vibes. Not to be racist or anything. So they pull up to this like small Florida bungalow, and this house, it has some incredible like mid 90s old person furniture. It was quite a fun look.
Awesome.
And Meryl, so Lee, this is such a fascinating moment for me. She just manages to enter the house somehow. Like, was the door unlocked? Do people not lock their doors in Florida? She just like walks right in, and then she has like the dramatic moment where Bessie exits Marvin's room and they like see each other and whatever. And I'm just thinking, like, if you haven't seen this woman in 20 years, do you have a key to get in here? What's happening here? Whatever. Anyways,
yeah.
She surprises Bessie.
People probably did lock their doors in the 90s, right? I mean, I
suppose so.
I mean, I know that people are convinced that the world is more dangerous now than it was in the 90s. So, yeah, I mean, I think that people did lock their doors less back then.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think this is supposed to have been Meryl Streep's childhood home.
Oh, okay.
I think that's
gotcha.
The implication. So I think that's why she just walks in, because it's like this is her house.
Gotcha.
You know, like even though it isn't anymore.
Yeah, people think the world is more dangerous now because they're addicted to watching brain rot true crime content on TikTok.
Yes,
it's like the whole movement
the world is actually demonstrably significantly safer now than it was.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
I just saw one of those tweets recently in the last couple of days where it was some lady saying like, "Oh, I'll never let my kids attend a sleepover, but they'll thank me when they're older," and I'm just like. Will they?
Definitely will not.
I think they'll
definitely will
right.
Not.
I think they'll just Google like stats and be like, "No, Mom, you were insane. Like that was totally unjustified. Why did you deny me those fun opportunities?" These people are fucking nuts. You just think like everything is some sort of like molestation scenario. It's like it's not how the fucking world works.
Certainly not.
Anyways, so Lee is reuniting with Bessie and Aunt Ruth and whatever. And there's this gag, this like running joke about how Ruth, she like deals with chronic pain. So they installed some like basically like a pain dial that she can turn up to like feed herself pain medication. But whenever she turns it on,
it's not medication.
It's like a stimulation. It's like it's like a deep brain stimulation or something. But every time she does it, it opens the garage door. And I was really flatlining here. I was like, this is not working for me comedically.
Like the least funny thing I've ever seen in my life.
God.
Yeah. It's a real mess tonally, like especially in this middle act that we're coming into here.
Yeah.
And I think that the garage door thing is the goofiest thing in the film. Like it has no, like I think the other thing that's goofy is the way that Aunt Ruth is about her soap opera that she watches. But I think that has thematic resonance, right? Because,
yes.
like, you know, spoiler alert, the theme of the film is that, like, some people, Meryl Streep's character, try to run away from the, like, boring mundanity of, like, everyday life. But, like, actually that boring mundanity is, like, the part about life that matters. And so, like, the point about Ruth and the soap opera is that, like, yeah, it's like a little goofy and funny that she like loves her show so much, but like it's nice for her that she gets to have this like simple pleasure, and like it's really meaningful and significant to her that she has that. So like there's a little bit more emotional resonance to the soap opera jokes. The garage door thing is so stupid. Like it's just like really goofy and it has no alignment with anything else that happens in the story, and they do it 3 times, and every time it happened I was like, the fuck are we doing here? Like, who wrote this?
You know what I wrote in my notes? I wrote, Philip laughed at the pain dial garage bit. I did not laugh.
Oh my God. We're going to get a letter about this.
And we learned that Leo hasn't decided if he wants to be tested for transplant compatibility yet. So he's kind of like holding that over them as like, I don't know, just to get attention or whatever.
Gosh, I wonder why.
Yeah, seriously. So they're in Marvin's room, and he looks kind of like James Cromwell, but he isn't, and he can't speak, so he kind of speaks in tongues. That's probably not the PC way to put it. And they have a disastrous first meeting, and it just fades to black, which to me felt like a cop-out, but whatever. Afterwards, we see more of them like hanging out in the house, and the strained relationship between Lee and Hank. There's like a whole bit about potato chips that is just like, it goes on forever. And Leo, Hank, whatever, that night he...
Potato chip's another big moment, just so you know. Like, we should stop and talk about this. Like, the potato chip thing happens next, right? This is the next time
that's what I just said.
Lee treats... Well, right, but this is the next time that you were going to gloss over it. This is the next time that Lee treats Hank, like, insanely as his mother. Like, she's just, like, so nuts. And, like, again... we're not going to learn about like the ostensible reason why she is this way toward him until like the very end of the film. But like, yeah, this whole sequence about the chips takes like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's just her being like a total asshole to him about wanting to eat chips that were like very obviously put out for him to eat. And it's like,
right.
What is wrong with this person?
Communal
like,
chips.
I hated this character so much for like the first 85% of the movie. And then they're like, oh, you're actually not supposed to hate her that much. And I was like, why did you think that would work?
I agree. It's interesting. It's interesting the way they set these characters up. So that night, Leo sneaks into Marvin's room. I don't understand like why I don't know, whatever. I guess he didn't have a Game Boy, but he like sneaks into Marvin's closet and finds an old toolbox and brings it outside into the backyard, and is just like playing with the tools. And Bessie comes out and they have a conversation. That's where we learned that Hank is 17 years old. He's like turning 18 in 3 weeks. And all I could think was, holy shit, how lucky is he that he wasn't like tried as an adult for the felony arson that he committed? Because he said, he's like, I burned the house down and the fire like went up the street. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But holy shit.
Right. He is about to be transferred to the adult wing of the hospital, prison, whatever he's confined to. And I'm sure that's much worse. So like, yeah, in spite of not having been tried as an adult, like, you know, his situation is going to get much worse when he turns 18. Essentially.
Yeah, not a good situation. And
I think the reason why he went into Marvin's room is because he's looking for, and why he got the toolbox is because he's looking for some feeling of connection with like any male family member or like role model in his life. And Marvin is like the closest thing he's got. So
yeah, that's tough. He could really use one
to interpret that as.
So Bessie, Bessie treats, she's warm towards Hank, and he doesn't know how to handle that at first, but you can tell he's trying, like he wants to connect with her, which is nice. The next day we get a really schmaltzy scene where Bessie lets Hank drive her, I don't know, somewhere, wherever. And so they're hanging out like by the beach, and they get in the car, and he asks about his dad or whatever. And Bessie's like, yeah, I didn't really know the guy. I talked to him like once and whatever. That seems to satisfy Hank. So, he's being cutesy.
But she says, really quick, she says that she talked to him once, but then I can't remember if it was in this scene or in another scene later where they talk about him. But then later she says that the one time she met him, he was asleep on the couch. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, why did she tell him she talked to him? And then right away, she's like, yeah, he was asleep the only time I ever saw him. They didn't notice that when they were like going through the edit. They were like, oh, we got a little bit of a...
I didn't even notice that when I was watching it. So Bessie and Hank, they have this sweet moment where Hank drives the car up onto the beach and just goes straight into the fucking ocean. He goes further than you would expect him to before finally turning and like driving.
What kind of car was this?
I'm not sure, actually. Feel embarrassed for not knowing.
Like a pretty boring like 80s car, right?
Yeah, it's like an 80s sedan.
Yeah, because presumably it has front wheel drive. So he drives like I don't know if you noticed this. I assume that the reason why this happened was because they only had one take to do this. But like the way that it's shot when he drives, to your point, way farther out into the ocean than you'd expect him to be, there's a very distinct shot of like one of the wheels sunk down in a way that makes it very clear that like this car would not be getting out of here if it didn't have wheel drive. And so like that happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. Like this is not a good situation. How is this going to interact with Hank's whole situation? But like then that was just right about the shot.
They play it's interesting because it's so divorced from reality because you're right. They go so deep into like the water that there's no way that car would get out of there. And so you're just thinking
like a million years.
And it's getting sprayed, it's getting blasted with salt water, it's getting into the interior everywhere. And they're just smiling and laughing through it all. I'd be freaking the fuck out. I'd be like, what the fuck are you? You're going to get us stuck fucking high tide. You're going to get my car fucking, washed underwater. It's going to be taken into Atlantis.
I don't think insurance is going to pay out for this. I don't think this is a covered loss if the car drifts away into the ocean because we're driving on the beach.
So and they're still laughing when they come home too. It's fucking crazy. So they get a call from Dr. Wally, and Dr. Wally basically says he wants to test the boys now. So I guess Lee wasn't a match at that point. And Dr. Wally has a conversation with Lee one-on-one, and he says basically like the gist of this conversation is Bessie is fucked if she has to do chemo. Bone marrow transplant, good. Chemo, she's only going to have a couple of years and they're going to be pretty rough. So Lee's kind of in denial about this, but whatever, we get more Robert De Niro. So we do a little, like we get a little tour over, it's like a nursing home, right? For Marvin. Is that what they were looking at? Yeah. Yes, with a young Cynthia Nixon as the retirement home director. They come home and like Bessie is mad at Lee because Lee doesn't want to take care of Marvin full time. And they have this argument that they've clearly had before where Lee says that she doesn't want to waste her life taking care of Marvin. And I wrote down, this is a very big it's a very big actor moment. And like, this is where I wrote in my notes that Lee sucks because Hank, Leonardo DiCaprio, he walks into the kitchen while they're having this big actor argument, and Lee starts trying to poison Will against Bessie, even though he hasn't been tested for the bone marrow compatibility yet. He's like, oh, didn't you ever think about why, she never sent you a Christmas card or anything like that? And it's like, lady's fucking dying from cancer. Like, why don't you sort that shit out after you have this very like emotionally, volatile kid get tested first?
It's fascinating. Yep.
Oh God, I'm just thinking about what I want to skip here. There's just this, because this is based on a play. It really only takes place in a few locations, right? Marvin's house / room, Dr. Wally's office. That's basically it, right? Like the detention center for a couple of scenes. Pretty.
And Disney World.
Oh my God, that's right. We get to go to Disney World later. How exciting. So
it was fun seeing Disney World in the 90s. That was cool.
It honestly was, yeah. Bessie bonds with, Bessie talks to Lee and says Will's a good boy, which... yeah, it's complicated. He is a felony arsonist, but I think he means well deep down. And they do mention that they're going to Disney World tomorrow, and the sisters, they bond over makeup and whatever. It's all very emotional, drama with a capital D. And Bessie tells Lee that she fell in love once when she was younger. And this is just, I thought it was a crazy story. I have to bring it up.
I really agree.
So she admits that when she was younger, she fell in love with a carny. And I wrote, no wonder she's still single.
That? Is that respectful? A carny?
Respect. What? This isn't a protected group of people.
I don't know. Is it? I have no idea. So I heard them use this word, and I was like, yeah, I guess when I was a kid, we said this word all the time, but I like haven't heard anyone say it since I was a kid. Is this offensive to say? Carny?
When is the last time you went to the carnival?
Probably when I was a kid.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have fucking heard the word carny.
You think if you and me went to the carnival, you think they're still saying carny? Are you Googling it? Is it offensive?
I am Googling it. I don't know. It's tough because the top result is from Reddit, and the comment says carny is not inherently offensive. Next result is a blog post titled "Carny is a derogatory term." Yeah, carny is a derogatory term. Listen. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you.
Somebody's got to put up those rides, you know? And like, listen, I'm not going to let my kid ride them.
No.
Because, you know, they just got like some 16-year-old kid who they're paying $5.15 an hour, you know, tightening the bolts, maybe not quite so much, or maybe a little too much, stripping them a little bit. And, you know, but it
goes flying off.
Do it. Yep.
Well, anyways.
But anyway.
The carnival employee drowned doing something in front of like a crowd of people, which included Bessie. And it was really a love that was never meant to be. She could never find love again after that perfect specimen of a human male drowned doing something basic. So they have another bonding scene where Bessie removes her. Bessie's wig is like, is it a bob? The hairstyle?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lee they have a bonding moment where Lee's like, oh, just because you're wearing a wig doesn't mean you can't have fun with it. And so she styles it. I'm using air quotes for styles because she...
We should just stop for a second. I think that it's pretty funny. Like, this is another, like, Lee is awful scene here. Like, what she actually says is more like, just because you have to wear a wig doesn't mean you need to look like shit. Like, she tries to, like, paper it over and make it look nice, but, like, she, like, makes, like, a few, like, very, like, passive-aggressive comments about Diane Keaton's appearance, like, oh, you should wear more makeup, and, like, oh, you should do something with your wig. And it's like, man, this lady sucks.
Yeah.
Like, she's, like, not a very nice person.
No, she seems to have blown it in, like, every capacity. You know, I guess the husband thing, we'll get more into that very soon. So
it's not enough. Right?
We get
because of the chronology. It doesn't explain it.
The funny thing is about the wig before they go to Disney World, like the morning that they're going to go, Bessie does this really dramatic. It's like presented dramatically within the movie reveal of her new styled wig, and like the music swells and everyone is like smiling and cheering for her, and it's like, oh, it looks so Lifetime original movie, but it's so funny. It's so unintentionally like funny because the wig looks so white trashy now.
It looks so bad.
It's really fucking funny. Even Philip
so
laughed
much
there.
better before. Like before, it was just like kind of a dignified, understated look for like a, you know, whatever. She's like a middle-aged woman, right? She's probably supposed
like
to be
50.
in like her late 40s or early 50s, like, you know. And it's like she just looked very normal, and now she looks very weird. It's not a good hairstyle.
Yeah, so now the family is going to Disney World, everyone except for Marvin. And I have to say, Leo here, he's rocking a very cool like towel polo. Oh man, that shit's making a comeback. It makes me want to buy one.
It is.
It seems like it'd be the perfect beach attire. You're wearing the towel.
It's very like Tony Soprano core.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like,
really good.
So cool. Yep.
And they're walking around Disney World. They're all having a good time. Bessie's walking around and she's clearly not doing well, but no one seems to notice, which... whatever, I don't know. Seemed pretty obvious to me, but what do I know? And this is going to be the final episode of our hero De Niro because I'm dying after this.
Yeah. R.I.P.
It was nice while it lasted.
Guest host.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do rotating guest hosts, like, you know, different
that'd be nice. Yeah, like what the Daily Show does now.
But then I'm gonna have to pay really close attention to every movie. You know, like I didn't take notes for this one.
I respect that. I really respect that.
I wouldn't be able to do that if I was the lead on every movie.
No, that's true. Well, we get a very dramatic reveal. This is the timing of this is inopportune. So Lee has a serious conversation with Leo about the dead dad, the racer.
Yeah.
So it's a very dramatic scene where Lee basically says, without saying it, but she says that the dad used to abuse Leo. Whenever he would take care of Leo on his own, Leo would end up having bruises, and basically like Lee didn't know what to do about it because, you know, she loved her husband, but also, didn't enjoy seeing her child be abused. And Leo's in denial about this, and they're having the only thing that undercut the tension or the drama of this scene is the fact that they're having the conversation in a Disney gift shop. So you just see
one of my
like
favorite places on earth, though. That exact Disney gift shop.
I guess if you're
know
going,
the one.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that place. It's right there on Main Street, man.
Is that where you'd want to hear about an abusive parent situation? Just in that gift shop?
No, but I just mean like I enjoyed watching it because I haven't been to Disney World in a while, and it just made me feel a little nostalgic. Like I love going to that store. It was cool seeing it so long ago too. I spent most of my time in that store in like the teens, the 20 teens.
Oh yeah,
it was very different then.
So we cut outside back to Bessie, and she is. It's so crazy because like earlier she said she's like, oh, I'm gonna sit under the sun for a while, as though that would make her feel better. Like you're dying from cancer. You're getting blasted by the Florida sun.
96 degrees, right. Orlando, Florida. Like
you don't want to go inside of like a food court or something. You want to sit in the sun. She has
like the world's smallest drink, and it's like there's not much left, and it's like, lady, why don't you get a big cup of water? Like, but I think we do need to go back. So hang on. So this is the moment where we need to talk about Lee, right?
Okay.
Like this is it. Like this is supposed to be a turning point for us, I think, as viewers watching the film, and we're basically at the end anyway, right? Like nothing of any substance is going to happen for the rest of the film. Like this is basically the end. And so we learn this thing. And it's supposed to be a relatable moment. Like, it's like, oh, like, Lee, like, she's such a terrible mother. But, like this dealing with this abusive situation that she was observing in her home, with her husband, was probably very traumatic for her. And, I don't think you said this, but like what she says is that like when the younger child was born, she left because she didn't want the husband to beat him too. It must have been hard to like be a single mother and like have left this traumatizing situation. It's like, yeah, that's really tough. Like, I bet you that would make you a bad mother. And I think that if we didn't know anything else about her character, we would be like, oh, like I say all the time, right? We are all victim and abuser, So it's like, yeah, like she was like a really.
Do you say that all the time?
Like, I'm always saying it. Yep. She's like a quasi, like emotionally abusive mother, right? Like very emotionally withholding, like very hot and cold, but like. She too was abused. So like that's sad, but what else do we know about her? So we know from, the earlier scenes in the film that she had a kind of strained relationship with her sister, even, when they were kids, right? She didn't know about the carnival worker. Bessie says they were never really that close or anything. We know that their mother died when they were young. And then when Marvin had his stroke, Lee just pieced the fuck out of there. And she was like, I don't want to be here. And we know, like, because it's stated explicitly by her in her dialogue in the script that like the reason why she did that was essentially just because she didn't want to, quote unquote, waste her life. That she thinks that like
she had dreams.
Right. She thinks that sacrificing her own like happiness and wish fulfillment would be like a waste of a life when what it would be done for would be to care for her like dying father and to like let her sister off the hook a little bit so she wouldn't have to be doing this alone. And like, yeah, for the whole movie, all we've seen is her be an asshole to like her sister and like her son. And like, she just like really sucks. And it's like, what is the point of this character? Like, yeah. What they really needed to do was explain why, like give some explanation for like why she wouldn't have wanted to stay back and take care of Marvin. So I was waiting for that to happen, that there was like some abuse in like the household when she was a kid or like some strain in their relationship or some strain between the sisters. But like all we ever learn is just that Lee blows ass and she just like pieced out and like left her like father to be taken care of by just one of the daughters for like the lofty goals of like shacking up with some shitheel and then like, getting wise and having the strength and the resolve to leave him. But then in the wake of that, just being like the world's shittiest mom and like just raising like a son who appears to have like failed to launch. And like, I agree with Bessie. He is a good kid, right? Like it's clear that like underneath like this, like,
yeah, he's troubled
exterior is like somebody like he's just like a troubled, like poor kid, probably like an arrested case of adolescent development. And he just wants somebody to love him. And Like, she just blows. So, like, what's the point of this character? Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't understand what they were trying to do here.
I completely agree, because Bessie, in comparison, is a total saint. She is just so
great.
right.
Yeah.
She's so pure and selfless and cares for Marvin and is like the only genuine connection that Leo has. It's so funny, like when her and Lee argue, and it's like, well, yeah, I think we're all gonna side with Bessie here. So, we're getting close to the end here. Basically, let's move past fucking Disney World. Who gives a shit? It's that night, and Dr. Wally calls Bessie.
Well, no, hold on.
What?
You skipped something really important. It's my fault. I interrupted you. But like the way that the Disney World scene ends is that Bessie is sitting there and she like gets heat stroke and faints after finding blood, like
bonks her head.
So she's starting to like cough up blood. So the end state of the Disney World thing is that like, oh, like Bessie appears to have taken a turn for the worse. Like things are not going well for her. That's the one important thing that you left out.
I get that that's what they were like trying to convey, but I just feel like maybe it just wasn't a good idea to send this 50-year-old dying woman out into the Florida sun for 10 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Gotta agree.
I feel a little weary. I'm going to sit under the sun. That'll help suck all the water out of my body.
Let me get some sun.
Yeah, I just need some sun. I just don't have enough sun. And so anyways, that night, Dr. Wally calls Bessie and provides the results. Big dramatic reveal. It turns out that the boys are not a match for Bessie. So,
well, that's not what happened.
Well, it is what happened. What are you talking about?
No, the next day.
Yeah, I was skipping past
after.
it.
No.
Yeah,
overnight after. It's important to the story. What are you talking about?
Is it real?
About?
Okay,
overnight after Disney World.
Say it.
Overnight after Disney World, Hank decides to leave. So he sneaks the car out of the garage, like he puts it in neutral and like quietly rolls it out into the street and drives away. And then the next morning they wake up and Lee is in the kitchen preparing like breakfast or whatever, and she finds a note that Hank left for Bessie saying like, hey, like, sorry, I'm leaving, like, like wish I could have stayed with you, whatever. And Lee takes the note and crumbles it up with the intent to not show it to Diane Keaton, and then they get the call from Dr. Wally. So Leo is gone when they find out that neither of the boys are a match.
Sure. Where does that bring us
you don't think
now?
You don't think the fact that Leo is gone is like
he comes back
these last 5 minutes of the movie?
So Lee was going to piece the fuck
coming
out.
Coming back matters. Coming back is an important character point.
Well, so after the news, it's very dramatic. There's a lot of crying between Lee and Bessie, and I wrote, they're crying so much it almost makes me want to cry. I didn't, though. Did you cry in this film?
Oh my God, so much.
Oh, did you? Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to talk about that in final ratings.
I found this film tremendously emotionally affecting. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm excited to get into that in a little bit. Let's just get through the rest of the last of this little recap here. So, there's a lot of crying, and Bessie tells Lee that she's been really lucky and blah, blah, blah. Lee starts freaking the fuck out when she's alone and starts packing a suitcase very haphazardly. And as she's doing that, I wrote like son, like mom.
She's just throwing like
just anything.
Like
she's putting anything she can in there.
20% of the volume of the suitcase worth of stuff taking up the entire suitcase. Like it's just like it's like the worst way you could possibly pack. It's so funny. And then she's like about to close it. She's like, yep, all set, ready to go.
Yep. And I was thinking, I was like, how is she gonna leave? She doesn't have a fucking car. Her son stole her car. But fortunately, Leo came back and he's waiting in the doorway. He's watching her and he goes, what are you doing? And, he decided to stay. And so that emboldens her to stay. And so she puts the suitcase away and she goes back into the kitchen, to assume some responsibility for the first time in 20 years. And so Hank, what's his name?
Hank.
That's so weird. I don't know why I wrote Will.
That's awesome.
So, listen, man, I was suffering from a case of food poisoning or something.
You have some kind of stomach illness that I too am going to have.
You're not going to have it. You're not going to have it. Hank, I'm almost at the end here. Son of a bitch. So Hank walks into Marvin's room, and Bessie is sitting with him, and Lee starts, growing the fuck up as a 47-year-old and starts fixing Marvin's, pill cocktail. And there's another very profound, dramatic moment of Bessie and Marvin looking at reflected light on the wall of Marvin's room. And I was just, I hate that shit so much. That's when I wrote in my notes, that's the sort of shit you have to do when you're writing a play, and the camera pulls out, slowly while the family talks about Ruth's soap opera, and the movie ends. That is Marvin's Room. Mike, let's talk about Marvin's Room. Let's roll right into our final ratings discussion. What did you think of Marvin's Room? What would you give it? Let's just have a conversation here.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a very good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a very bad movie. I think that if it wasn't such a fun, 90s nostalgia vehicle, and if the performances weren't so exceptional, I think it would be bad. But I think that those things elevate it kind of above the quality of the script and direction. Thematically, it all really works for me. I think that it's a nice story, right? I was wondering for the whole time, why is it called Marvin's Room? And, to your point, it's because of that, final shot, right? The point is that, Marvin's room is the only thing that matters, right? And, the stupid reflecting the light off the mirror is, so much more meaningful and matters so much more than, whatever boring-ass horse shit Lee decided that she wanted to do that made her leave home and, be the world's worst mom to Hank for the first 17 years of his life, and do presumably irreparable damage to his psyche and his psychosocial development. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I give it 3 stars.
3 stars from Mike the Fab. Okay.
Yep.
3 stars, not a bad rating. So before I share my feedback, I will share my final bit of Philip feedback. At the end of the movie, Philip said, "That was a good movie," and I took that in silently, and I just typed it in my notes.
Did he log it?
He did log it. So he gave it 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars. Okay.
So it's a friend of the pod, Philip.
There it is.
It's a Philip 3.5, a Mike 3. For me, I hate to do this. I really do. I'm going 2.5. Here's the thing.
Okay, that's all right. Yep.
Here's the thing about Marvin's Room. Actually, a little. Yeah, Jesus Christ. And as if it wasn't confusing enough that I kept confusing Hank and Will for some reason. So some context here that I didn't know until after.
There also wasn't a character named Will.
That's what makes it such a mystery.
Yeah. It's not confusing. As though you're confusing 2 characters. You just made up a name.
Listen, man, characters welcome. That's what I always say. What do you say? What's we're all victims and abusers? Is that? Speak for yourself, man. So this play or this film, I didn't know until I was reading about the play afterwards. This is actually an AIDS allegory, and that it kind of made me like it more. So the original playwright, he was gay, and he based the play on his experience of having to care for his partner when he was dealing with AIDS. And then he tragically passed a few years later, also from AIDS. And so I thought, I kind of wish it was about that actually, that actual experience instead of it. Yeah, there's just something about this film tonally. You're right.
What's the allegory?
It's just caring for someone. I don't know. It's just not about AIDS, but it's that experience. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You could have just made it about AIDS.
I agree.
I don't think it really works allegorically for me. That's not what I thought it was about at all. Never in a million years would I have thought of that, and it still doesn't make sense to me with that context. Thinking about the text in retrospect.
Right. So what we have here is a film that looks and feels like a Lifetime original movie. It is elevated solely by the strength of the performances of the cast. And I think for this kind of film, you need to really need to be in a specific mindset to enjoy it because it is so schmaltzy and bittersweet, and everyone is just acting so big, and there are so many like big actory moments. And if you're looking for that sort of thing, then like great. I think you will really enjoy this film. But I was not on that wavelength when I watched it last night, and it did not really affect me in the way that it seems to have affected you or friend of the pod, Philip. So it's getting a 2.5 for me. And it should be so lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. You're not going to get any arguments for me. Like I said, I don't think it's that good. So
yeah. Let's move into recommendations. Is there anything that you would like to recommend instead of or in addition to Marvin's Room?
Yeah. I mean, when I was watching this movie, the main thing that it made me think about was Titanic, which was Leonardo DiCaprio's really his breakout role, and the next film after this. And Titanic is a great movie. I think we've kind of rounded the bend on this. When we were kids, I think it was kind of like a anti-establishment counterculture like cool thing to like say that Titanic's not a good movie. But actually Titanic is a really good movie, and James Cameron is a great director. He's kind of lost the thread, I think, a little bit over the past 10 or 15 years, but certainly in the 90s, James Cameron was an incredible director. And I think that, Leonardo DiCaprio turns in, I think, like similarly strong performances in these two films. And it's incredible just how much better Titanic works on just the strength of like being a compelling story, like being well written and having like themes that are coherent and make sense. And apparently, to your earlier comment, not being an allegory for something that it has like no textual connection to, or like, other than like the thinnest like thematic or emotional linkage. And maybe we want to watch Titanic. That's what I was thinking about while I was watching it. What about you?
It's pretty funny. I've never watched Titanic all the way through. Still haven't
really
done
nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice little film. I saw it in IMAX. when it re-released.
Oh, that's really cool.
That was probably 15 years ago. It was really cool in IMAX. There's some incredible like visual set pieces in that film. It's really, really cool.
I mean, no one does it better than James Cameron. So yeah, yep. I just haven't, it's just one of those 3-hour long films that I just haven't ever bothered sitting down for all the way through.
It earns the runtime.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yep. I trust James Cameron. I think that's a great recommendation. So if you've never heard of this obscure little film, it's called Titanic.
This little like 1997 small indie film, Titanic.
Well, I did not think of anything during the film. I was thinking about it this morning, and so I just looked at 90s dramas that I had logged in Letterboxd, and I'm going to recommend the 1997 legal drama The Rainmaker. You ever watch this?
Never even heard of that.
Oh, so it's a John Grisham novel adaptation, and it stars...
I'm a John Grisham fan.
Oh, I mean, yeah. It stars Matt Damon, Claire Danes, and Danny DeVito. And...
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've watched it, so this is like... This is a
Ford Coppola movie.
Oh, it is. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
holy
great.
Shit. Like, this sounds awesome. Yeah.
Well, so it's been a long time since I've watched it, so I'm kind of recommending through like the hazy lens of my memory. Yep. But I remember it being a very affecting. I love legal dramas. I remember it being very affecting, and it did make me cry. So it did what Marvin's Room so desperately wanted to do to me, which was make me cry. And so for that reason, I am recommending The Rainmaker.
It's on the watch list. Sounds nice.
So now it's time for the most exciting part of the episode, the roll. It's your turn.
Oh, no letters this week?
No letters this week.
Oh, that's sad.
Step up, citizens of De Niro Nation.
So, you got anything you're hoping for this week?
No. Something less schmaltzy than Marvin's Room would be great. Maybe Criminal De Niro.
Sure. Here I go. We have rolled, 92.
Are you kidding
2015's Joy by David O. Russell.
Oh, my God.
I've seen this movie. It's not awesome.
This is directed by David O. Russell, and I have to say, I'm not a very big fan of his films. This is...
I love I Heart Huckabees, but never seen anything else by him that I liked. So
yeah. I haven't watched I Heart Huckabees since college, so I really have I don't have like an opinion on it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well...
Yeah.
Sure, this one stars
great.
Jennifer Lawrence as the titular Joy. I know that much.
I had a huge crush on her in 2015. That's why I watched this movie.
Didn't we all?
Yeah. I gave it 2.5 stars when I first saw it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen, we had to do it eventually, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were always going to get it, right? He's got second billing. I don't remember how much he's in this movie. But yeah, here we go, I guess.
Well, I guess I should go ahead and close us out then. Thank you to the citizens of De Niro Nation for listening, even though you didn't write us any letters this week. Follow us on Letterboxd. I'm Mike back at you. He's Mike the Fab. Rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your whatever podcast app you use. Just rate us 5 stars. Why don't you? And, want to thank Caroline for the arts. And I don't know, is that everything? Because I'm kind of out of it today.
Sure. I never remember.
Sure.
So.
No, you never do.
You're not going to get any comments from me.
We'll be back next week with the David O. Russell film Joy that Mike previously gave 2.5 stars. Can't wait.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
See you next week.